Agreement.
Hello, number 17, 16?
17 now. Yeah, 16 was last week's one. The You Are
Oh, sorry,
Murdering the
pal.
Planet special.
Is that the name? I didn't even see the name.
Yeah, because, well,
Well,
'cause you have a moral obligation to.
at least I'm having an effect, man.
Dear.
Okay,
Um,
so
Breaking
breaking
news.
news.
Okay.
Yeah, technically not breaking news for everyone who might be into it, but breaking news for me. I just read it. So 2 days ago,
This thing's- Yep.
uh, the U.S. NASA and the Navy confirmed um, that they have a scientist named PAIS. So Pace,
Yep. Sounds right.
Pace, 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 PI, Pace, Pace, something like that. I don't know how you say it, but him,
Mm.
um, he has he's registered 4 patents. Well, he might have not registered 4, but he's definitely registered 2. No, I think it is 4 though. One
Ah.
for a. You reading it?
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up, but I don't think I've found the right thing.
Just wait.
Okay.
Just
All
let me
right.
tell you, and then you
All
can
right.
look up.
All right.
Cause so one
I was getting a bit
is
excited. That's
for.
all.
It's pretty exciting. So one patent
Yeah.
is for a underwater air space vehicle that um, has an inertial. I can't remember if they called it an inertial dampener. If that I'm just getting that from Star Trek, but they. So basically, what it does is it cancels out inertia, so you can fly without being affected by aerodynamics and what's the other one? Gravity. Um,
What?
or aerodynamics and something else. Mass. Sorry, aerodynamics and mass. So,
Jesus.
so
Okay.
the I can't hear you.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, now I
Okay.
can hear. Yeah, I think you just probably didn't reach the
Uh,
gain level. Anyway, so the idea behind it is that you supercharge the environment,
uh-huh.
which polarizes some sort of quantum effect, and it creates a quantum vacuum around the ship, which then makes it not contact anything.
Oh my God. So as in it counteracts any friction?
Yeah, well, it's. I looked it up, but seriously, man, I only just read about this like 2 hours ago,
Oh, okay.
so I haven't read all of it.
Right.
And I was like furiously like trying to read it while you were so an ultra high intensity electromagnetic field generator.
Okay.
So I've got it on my phone just so I can the gravitational wave generator. Oh no, that's the gravitational wave generator. That's the next one. Inertial mass reduction device. So piezoelectricity induced high temperature superconductor is another one. Um, so let me see if I can find. Craft using the inertial mass reduction device. Uh, sorry, I'm looking through a massive article, but I really don't understand it fully. So,
Sure. Yeah.
so, so, so this is basically what you see in the Tic Tac videos.
Yeah, right.
It, it technically should be able to go from space to the ocean, fly around, right?
Yeah.
So there's that, right? Then
Yeah.
you have a superconductor that he claims works at room temperature, which is revolutionary in the electromagnetic, like
Yeah. That
transferring. Yeah. You have lossless transfer of energy.
Yeah, I thought that
Um,
used to like require that super freezing or like
yeah, you can only do it at -70 at the moment. So it's
yeah.
like, so he claims he's got it to room temperature. Um, well, at least has a design to get it to room temperature. The next one is the gravitational wave um, thing,
Yep.
which basically creates artificial gravity in front of the ship, which is what they were
Jesus.
talking about with the alien ships.
Sure. Yep.
Um, and then what was the last one? God, I really was trying to memorize this stuff, but it's oh, and the last one was a force field um, that's not strong enough,
Oh,
but it's not like a force field like Star Wars or anything, but
right.
it's strong enough to deflect, like push large asteroids off of its orbit using electromagnetic waves. So it's like you fly the ship out there, it bursts this massive, strong
Oh
electromagnetic wave thing,
God.
and slowly pushes asteroids out of the way.
Jesus.
So these are patents that have
Right.
been released,
Yeah,
right?
okay. Yeah. So
Now,
I've found a guy called Salvatore Cesar
that's the one.
Pace, Department of
Yeah,
Defense, Department of the Navy,
yeah,
Naval Air Systems
yeah,
Command.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
not a crackpot.
no, but this is from 2015 on a high energy electromagnetic field generator.
Yeah, yeah. So now they've released the patents. So it's
So
like,
they can make the thing,
well,
or
they're having
potentially
an
they have.
argument. Yeah. So the ship that they're talking about.
Yeah.
This was the crazy thing. So there's two things.
Yeah.
There's lots more, but there's two of the crazy things that they mentioned. One, the CTO of some Navy like offshoot, like they're like
Is that technical
um,
officer or what?
yeah, chief technical officer.
Okay.
Um, he vouched for it, stating that he had seen a demonstration when the patents office rejected it,
Oh,
because they said the energy levels required would be too high for today's
all right. This just said it's not going to work. It's not real.
yeah, it's basically I think the energy levels that he's talking about in the paper they cite roughly about the amount a magnetar produces
I
to
don't know what that
create this
is.
like a magnetar is like a super dense, so it's like you've got like stars,
Oh,
white dwarf, like brown white dwarfs, red dwarfs, no, red dwarf, white dwarf, neutron star, magnetar, and then black hole.
right.
It's just varying orders of density.
Right.
So it's like what it's made out of. Um, anyway, the so
Right.
the patent office said the reason why they rejected it was because it can't be made by someone who is skilled enough in the craft to reasonably produce it from the patent. And the statement that they used was the amount of energy required.
Right.
Then it was allowed because the CTO said, no, 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 it's good. So, so then this is the other thing he's invented is a fusion engine the size of a car.
Jesus. Okay. I'm signing up for
Right,
Starfleet. Yep. Sorry. Go on.
right. So they kind of all line up to make something,
Yeah.
which is basically a spaceship.
Spaceship. Yep.
Like it's yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so they've
like
got a force field, they've got a propulsion system, they've got an engine to power it now.
and they've got a craft that can fly into yeah.
Yeah, well, actually,
Now
what is there a patent on a particular type of craft or material?
craft, not material, craft.
Okay, right.
So it's a craft and it's the void maker for
Oh, okay.
the quantum void maker, which is a cool name. Um, so anyway,
Yep.
there are three outcomes of this. One, all the stuff. Oh, before I go into my conclusion,
Yep.
the other claim that the CTO made was that the Chinese are already investigating this stuff.
Oh, yep.
They've already made headroad into this.
Okay.
So
So now it's a race.
yeah. So
Yeah.
here's the three conclusions that I made. One, well, I didn't make them. I read them. I read them, but
Okay.
they make sense. One, the dude's correct. Everything's correct.
Okay.
Two, they're putting it out for disinformation to try and get the Russians and Chinese to research it and spend money and time researching that, and it's actually a dead end.
Interesting. Yep.
And three, the most exciting, they're working on broken spacecraft and just ripping shit out of it
Yeah.
and
Reverse engineering.
accrediting it to this dude. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's I mean,
I wish I had like read more of it. And if I had found this a couple days ago, I would have shot it to you so you could look through it. But
where'd
I
you find it?
literally I was just scrolling through the internet.
Put the link up. I wanna have a look. This
Oh,
is
dude, I can't. I'm
oh
on my.
oh
Oh,
yeah.
actually, no. I can use my phone. Hang on.
All right. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I was I was just gonna talk a little bit more about the argument that you had last week, but like now I'm like,
We can get onto that, but yeah,
I kind of
this
want to
is
see about
nuts.
alien space living craft, whatever we're doing,
Yeah.
flying out into
No,
space.
no, I am gonna. I sent it in the chat.
Oh yeah,
So I am gonna say something a bit weird. In 1996 or seven.
oh this is from the Wars. All right, the drive. Yep.
Yeah. So our friend Kim and I
Yep.
made a comic called Gustav.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about this
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah. One of the
Just
technologies in that was a cube, a flying cube with
mm,
two dudes in it that were like police cars, and they had a field around them that teleported all the stuff in front of them behind them,
okay. Yep.
so that it made them not exist in this area, so they could fly as a cube through
Yep.
the air,
Yep.
which is basically what this is. It's like creating a void
Yeah.
in around itself, so it no longer cares what
Yeah.
like what it's flying through. So it can go into the ocean, into the air, into space.
Yeah.
Doesn't give a crap.
Yeah. Basically creates an umbrella effect around itself where matter just does not interact with it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I don't know, like some sort of neutrino ship.
Yeah. Yeah, that concept's been around for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But it's crazy, man.
because one of the ones that they use that for is like cloaking um, technology, or the
Yeah,
idea of cloaking is
yeah.
that you. My concern is like, well, how do you make that happen in all directions at once? Because otherwise you'd have telltale points where the matter is not moving around the particular object correctly. But
Well, I
you'd have,
think because you have the field,
yeah, it'd have
but
to be a uniform field around an object, right? Like you
yeah,
couldn't have poles with like
no,
rotate.
which is what I had. Like it was just like a bubble around them,
Mm,
and it just created like a cavitated bubble
yeah,
where where it's just a vacuum inside, and so the ship can move around. But the way that their ships move is with gravitational waves, which is what everyone's been saying with alien spaceships.
yeah,
Now, now this is alone is quite bizarre and weird, and it's like, but when you couple it with all the stuff that's been happening in the last year around like video releases and all this
Yeah.
stuff,
Yep. It's like a
either
slow release of
yeah,
information. Yeah.
like either we're getting psyoped like by masters and they've like
QAnon.
they've created no like
uh,
the Navy's putting out this different disinformation to try and
all right. Right.
get their enemies to invest heavily in this rubbish, and then they chase it for hopefully years and fall behind.
Yeah.
Um, or it's just like they're trying to release stuff in a slow enough and orderly enough manner as to not freak everyone out.
Yeah. Yeah. Check out our UFO fleet coming out of
Yeah,
nowhere. We'd all just be
yeah,
like shooting at it. It's like they're coming, man. End times.
yeah. But just imagine what this means for like air travel. Like these guys are talking about weapons, but it's like imagine what this means for air travel,
Yeah.
for space travel,
Yeah.
for like
No, if
like
the
energy production.
yeah, if the commercial sector gets a hold of that technology, like if you take it
Yeah,
outside of weapons manufacturing, there's no limit. I mean, I don't know what
yeah.
speed these craft can get up to. I don't know what they're like.
Well, they're talking about that in one of the things they mentioned. They didn't mention a speed, but they were saying one of the major hurdles of traveling faster than light is as you travel fast, as you get closer, your mass goes infinite.
Yeah.
So if you have a mass dampener, if you can dampen
Oh
your
yeah.
mass and your inertia,
Yeah.
um, you can then break that.
But you'd have to get it to zero. Like you'd have to get your mass to zero. Because
Not
once mass is infinite, it doesn't matter what it's.
how much there is.
Yeah, you'd never be able to hit
Yeah.
light because of that. Like,
Well, I know, but I don't know. I don't know any of the science behind it. I don't
yeah,
know what they're talking about.
yeah,
But
got
that
it.
was what they mentioned.
Yeah, they may be able to balance it, like the mass of the object versus its like
But it
ability
could
for
be how
inertia.
fast you go is how much it reduces it by. Because I mean, otherwise you're just gonna splat the dude in the ship.
Yeah.
Like
Did you ever
it's
watch
gonna
that
be like.
series, The Expanse?
No, I haven't. I watched the first 1.5 series. I haven't watched
Oh,
all of it yet.
it's very good. But
Yeah,
yeah, there's a dude. He's just slingshotting his way trying to go through this like gate thing, and then as soon as he hits it, it just stops him dead, and it's just like I've made it, and then it's just this red mush that just like
oh,
just his body just is still moving at this intensely high pace. It's just splooshed all over the front of the control deck.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, that's exactly the problem. Like we just
yeah,
can't accelerate above a couple of G's, or
yeah,
we
exactly.
black out. We yeah
So the idea, I think, is that you are part inside the field that has
yeah.
its inertia
Isn't
dampened.
that's that relativity thing, right? Like if you isolate your mass from mass around you, you no longer you're obviously still moving at your own relative space and stuff, but you're moving outside of this general space-time effect of the world around you,
Yeah,
which means that like you starting, stopping, moving around back and forth has in within that field there is no effect. There's no
yeah,
external effect impacting on you.
yeah. So I think this is what they're talking about is like creating a quantum vacuum.
Yeah, I wonder if
So
that
you
could
kind of,
change your time as well, like if you can create stasis field and stuff out of that. But anyway, sorry,
dude,
way too
yeah,
far off.
yeah.
All right, so
It's very real,
yeah,
and
so
like
this
just imagine
says
having your own fusion reactor in the backyard, Mr.
Mr.
Fusion.
Fusion, throw some cabbages and stuff in there. Just got to get power for another week. All right, so last year,
It's
it
like,
says here, last year the publication of several unusual patents assigned to the US Navy raised eyebrows due to seemingly radical and unconventional claims found within them. These patents included bizarre technologies such as high-temperature superconductors, high-frequency gravitational wave generator, a force field-like electromagnetic field generator, a plasma compression fusion device, and a hybrid aerospace underwater craft featuring an inertial mass reduction device. Yeah, and
Oh yeah, I remembered most of it.
all of it
That's
is
pretty good.
accredited to Dr. Salvatore Cesar Pace, who at the
Yep.
time of patent applications were submitted was an aerospace engineer at the Naval Air Warfare Center Aircraft Division um, in Maryland. Each one of his inventions depends on what the inventor calls the Pace effect, described in numerous publications by the inventor as the controlled motion of electrically charged matter from solid to plasma via accelerated spin and/or accelerated vibration under rapid yet smooth acceleration, deceleration, acceleration transients. So, so sure, okay, egghead,
Yeah.
slow down.
It's like if anyone ever watches this, they'll be like, "Oh, I know what that is." Yeah.
Well, I mean, plasma. I thought plasma was like some weird charged ion of something or other. I mean, I barely even know what that is.
It's basically an
Lightning's
I.
plasma, isn't it?
Yeah, plasma is basically an ionized gas. So
Right.
it's like
So,
it's like a positively charged um, gas. I think. I don't think it's negatively charged.
yeah. So it's got additional electrons in it.
I think so, and that's what lightning is the electrons discharging into the.
Right. So
I think
it's
that's what it is. I'm not, yeah, not up on my
come on, man.
lightning. I
Okay.
know how to cast lightning bolt. I don't know how to tell you how what it does.
Yeah. All right. So it's the controlled motion of electrically charged matter, sounding like what you're saying, from a solid state to a plasma.
So basically, it's basically vaporizing matter.
Right. um, via accelerated spin and or accelerated vibration. So you're charging you're exciting the matter with
So much that
adding
it vaporizes into a
yeah,
plasma.
yeah, under rapid yet smooth acceleration, deceleration, acceleration transients. So
So it'll be
you're going like up,
what's
up,
yeah.
up, up, up.
It's a yeah, but it's a
Oh, okay.
curve. Like
Yep. Right.
it'll be like it'll be a smooth curve, not a
Not a
not like that.
or an
Yeah, yeah. It's
exponent.
not
Yeah.
just like
Okay.
yeah, it's not just like a line. It'll be like an exponential curve.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's why wow. So this dude's releasing that stuff after Commander Fravors come out saying I was watching this stuff doing these weird things going near the
Yeah,
water and then
yeah.
just shooting around.
So now apparently they're worried maybe the Chinese are doing it. But I can assure them if the Chinese had that, America wouldn't exist right now. So I
Yeah,
don't think they have them.
no, exactly. Trump wouldn't have been placing sanctions on them. They would have just been like,
Yeah,
sanction this. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Um, all right, so it's just yeah, I'm just trying to see what else is in there. Lack of experiment. Yeah, so the patent got rejected due to lack of experimental evidence provided for them, um, and their seemingly controversial and highly theoretical concepts such as mass reduction or quantum vacuuming or vacuum engineering. So that stuff is like not even sure if it's real or not.
Yeah.
However, in a series of email correspondence in which the inventor claimed that his work will be proven correct one fine day. Okay. Yeah, so it was just saying that it's may or may not be something that he can actually get a patent on. However, oh, so this, okay, this website's just saying that they've obtained all the related emails in the
Yeah,
creation
I
to the
was going to
patent.
read all that, but I haven't had time. So there's a whole bunch of documents that they say he's released,
Yeah.
and then there's a whole bunch of like correspondence. But
Okay, so it's that they can't even determine if the emails are 100% certain that they're from this guy in any case, from Pace himself.
Oh,
Um,
I mean, it's pretty hard to.
yeah,
But yeah,
and a lot
the
still
main bit,
remains unknown.
yeah, the main bit of corroborative evidence is the CTO um,
Mm,
backing him up, which is again
yeah.
not a crackpot. We're not talking about the. Did you? You're probably not old enough to remember, but do you remember it was either late '80s or early '90s? Um, a bunch of French or Russian scientists claimed they created uh, um, I think it was cold fusion. It was called
No,
at the time.
no.
So cold fusion is basically fusion at room temp. Like semiconductors need to be super cold. Fusion needs to be super hot.
Right.
They claim to have created cold fusion. They basically had, from my memory, a fish tank and a light bulb with bubbles going through it. This was on national news. It went in the papers. It like was. It's really famous. Like just if you look it up, you'll probably find it. It's like late '80s, early '90s. Cold fusion discovered.
Cold fusion discovered uh, in the 80s.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. On June 30th, 1991. Oh
91.
no,
Yeah, I
it
thought.
ran out of funds.
Oh, okay.
They say it died 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah, see if you can find a picture of it because it's hilarious.
Okay, let's see. Memory of water since the 19.
No, no, no. That's that weird Japanese dude
All
who
right.
thinks that
Ah,
water has memory.
what is it? 1989. Chemist Martin Fleischmann. Fleischmann. um, at University of Salt Lake City made a claim that shocked and galvanized chemists and physicists for clean, cheap energy. Fleischmann and Pons, or Stanley Pons at the University of Utah, announced that what would become known as cold fusion. They described a startling process in heavy water, that is, water molecules with deuterium atoms replacing the normal hydrogens, in which the electrolysis of a salt solution could, so they said, make deuterium atoms absorb into a palladium electrode at such a high density that their nuclei merged, producing energy, and the neutron and some sort of Greek symbol ray emission that are telltale signs of fusion. Maybe gamma? This could be a gamma.
Yeah, gamma.
The findings didn't stand up to a storm of scrutiny that followed.
Just see if you can find a picture, man. It's
Yeah,
so funny.
just scrolling. Doesn't seem to have a
Like
picture of that, but
all I remember as a kid was like these two dudes standing behind this thing, and it was just bubbling, and it had a light bulb attached, and everyone was like taking pictures of it, and like,
alright, here we got a couple of eggheads standing around talking about things. They've got like graphic drawings of it. It's yeah, just literally like two
uh,
rods sitting in a bath.
yeah, never mind. It,
Yeah.
it was it was definitely like I remember it clearly because it was like,
Oh,
what is that?
hold on a sec. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's exactly what it looks like. A fish tank set up. Um,
Now this, the reason why I brought this up
yeah.
with a light bulb, yeah, the reason why I brought this up is because this captured everyone for weeks
I don't know if you can. Yeah.
when I was a kid
Okay. Right.
until just getting completely proven wrong with no effort
Right. Yeah.
because it's absolutely ridiculous.
Sure.
Um, so the Pace, Pace,
Just call
um,
him Pace. Yeah.
Salvatore, um, is kind of in that direction so far.
Yeah, they're pretty big claims. I mean, it's interesting
Yeah,
how it does align with the stuff that we've been hearing about and that it's come out into very open
exactly.
public knowledge with
Yeah,
including
th-
releases from the Navy itself showing
yeah,
these kind of vehicles.
yeah. So this
Um,
is why I brought it up because I thought it was very much encapsulating what we've been talking about.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's still like it from the sound of it is there's still a lot of unsureness about what's actually happened.
Exactly.
Um, but it's an interesting development. My God.
Yeah. So we'll file it under. To me, I file it under psyop at the moment.
Yeah.
Psyop lean. I honestly don't think this dude could have possibly invented all of those things by himself. I don't think there's a
No.
human that can do that.
No.
Um, so it's you can almost just rule that one out,
Yeah.
and then like any one of these things
Yeah.
is a lifetime's endeavor of achievement.
Yeah. All right. Here's a theory. Here's a theory.
Yeah,
The way Bob Lazar talked about it, right? He
yeah,
said that in the facility where he was studying these ships, every single
yeah,
division was separated. So no two
hmm
teams of scientists were able to talk to each other, but all the files and the reports were going somewhere.
yeah,
So if you are a person who can come along and access each of those files to study and see how it goes together, you are someone that has potentially the ability to develop all those systems. It's not that you're
yeah,
doing all the research, you're piggybacking off the research of other people. Maybe
yeah,
he's
yeah.
somebody had to have that access, right?
I mean, it is possible. I mean, like in the days of old, like Tesla and Ben Franklin and all those dudes invented like
Yeah,
a buttload of stuff.
yeah,
But now we're getting into highly minute, like
yeah. Specialty areas.
technical, and it's like not like you don't just have to have the ability to think of the physics, you have to have the ability to think of the mechanics
Yeah,
of how to harness those physics.
yeah,
So it's like like see, not only is he claiming to have invented an effect, which is the paste effect,
yeah,
right? He's claiming a whole new section of physics, and then he's claiming he's invented four brand new
yeah.
technological achievements that are
All linked to a ship.
society
Yeah,
busting.
yeah, yeah,
All exactly what you need to make a UFO,
yeah,
which is like it's.
yeah,
I mean, it's a bit beyond belief.
yeah.
So you could almost rule out that he invented it. So you're only left with the two, which is UFOs or PSYOP. I mean, you could also have crackpot. Like you could always have crackpot as well. You can never discount a good crackpot,
Yeah. Well, look,
which is
yeah,
why I
Wikipedia.
mentioned the
Oh, sorry, go on.
well, that's why I mentioned the cold fusion because I was like, this happened like when I was a kid. This like crazy cold fusion thing,
Yeah,
and that captured everyone's attention for a little bit.
yeah, yeah. I was just seeing like Forbes has actually written an article on this 2 days ago.
I
What
think
is?
I think that was the first one I read,
Ah, okay,
like not 2 days ago, but I just read it then, and
okay.
then that took me to this one.
Yeah, right. So, it was either this plasma compression fusion device. This is one of the patents. It
Yeah,
was either a giant breakthrough or mad science. According to the patent application, the miniature device could contain and sustain fusion reactions capable of generating power in the gigawatt 1 billion watts to a terawatt 1 trillion watts range or more.
yeah,
A large coal plant or mid-sized nuclear power reactor by comparison produces energy in the 1 to 2 gigawatt range.
yeah,
So you're basically compressing an entire nuclear power plant into whatever small device. You're basically just
yeah.
chucking it in your car and driving around with that as your
No,
power
no, they
source.
said it was about the size of a car.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah,
you're putting it in your private jet then.
yeah, exactly. Your jets, your boats, your like your spaceships.
Yeah, but then you're giving it the power of an entire city.
Yeah, exactly. Well, small city. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Like that's
They just hurt. I mean, imagine the lasers you could produce off that.
yeah, he has all bona fide credentials, including a PhD from Case Western, and published some of his work, while much of it is presumably classified. He has been employed by the Pentagon for decades, and it's not the first patent filed in his name. All of them appear centered around what he calls the Pace effect.
Yeah.
He
So,
posits that by controlling the accelerated spin or vibration of electrically charged matter, high energy electromagnetic fields can be produced.
which is what they were talking about being similar to
Oh yeah.
a magnetron. So,
Well, it would only work on small asteroids. Sorry, this is the electromagnetic field generator. So the field
yeah, yeah,
generation
yeah,
of this high energy production could only work on small asteroids of roughly 100 meters length or less. I
yeah,
mean, that whole, I mean, just getting out into the past, out into space these days, there's so much debris spinning around in like close orbit.
yeah,
You probably want that to begin with.
yeah, exactly.
Um, yeah, yeah, okay. That's. I mean, the dude's legit. He's he's a
Exactly.
he's a real guy. He's been posting this stuff up for like the
Yeah,
first one on that electromagnetic majigger field generation had to do, it was in 2015, so he's been putting this stuff out for a while, and he was still working for the Navy at that
yeah.
time.
Again, it's not like he put it out and they fired him.
Yeah,
It's like, and also, it's kind of like up there with Commander Fravor. It's like
yeah.
it's like a dude who is as straight as an arrow.
All
I
right.
mean, I haven't seen this guy talk or anything,
You're
but
saying get him on the show. We can really
yeah,
blow him up.
I think we can get him some views,
uh,
make him a household name.
yeah, finally. At least in this household and your one.
Yeah, that's two.
Oh, um, yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm just looking at the fact that there's no there was a experiments met with confirmation that a 3-year $508,000 assessment has found no proof of this effect actually existing or being able to take place.
Yeah,
And yeah, uh, I mean it's interesting. It might, you know what, it might just be one of those, like you're saying, the this getting everyone freaked out effect,
yeah.
just to generate more funding for himself. It's like, look, I need more money to get back in this project. The Chinese and the
Totally.
Russians are doing it, so we
Yeah,
better get on it.
but again, it's not him saying that. It was the CTO saying that. But it
Yeah,
could be him trying to generate money, or it could be an internal program to disrupt enemy um, technological
yeah,
advancement.
yeah, that's true.
So either way, if any of these things happen, it's freaking weird.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter if it's not. Doesn't matter if any of this technology is real. The fact that it's happening is so weird.
yeah,
It's like so weird.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
That
when in your lifetime has the government ever done this ever?
no, they don't admit to anything. It's all cover up, cover up,
Yeah,
cover up. So yeah, that's yeah. It seems to be a bit more and more information coming out, uh,
yeah, man,
that's
it's
leading us
freaky.
towards space travel.
Please, I want a spaceship.
Yeah, so long as the planet doesn't die before that. Um,
That's gonna.
So
But
speaking of, have you given up meat eating yet, Simon? Because, without it, you're the one responsible for destroying the planet.
what did I have today? Chicken burger, ham and cheese toasty.
uh, um,
But
yeah,
it,
yeah.
uh,
So,
it's. I think more accurate. Like when I was talking to you last week, it
yeah.
helped me define it more.
Oh,
It's what I was saying. It's like these massive inertial uh, things that we've set in place
yeah,
on the planet.
yeah.
That's what you can't stop now.
No,
That's more my point. It's
yeah,
not the it's not that we can't reduce our emissions or anything. It's just that it's like you've got a wrecking ball mid swing and you're like, okay, let's stop it.
yeah. That's pretty much the way.
You know, it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, we stop moving the crane, so the ball better stop soon.
yeah.
And it's like, yeah, the ball will stop, but it's gonna go way out there and hit the building first.
Yeah, right.
So it's that's more what I was getting at. It's
Yeah.
like there's we've already created an effect.
I'm trying to remember because I called Bob. Ah, sorry.
Captain America.
Captain America. He
It's
may
okay.
be.
He does go by many names.
Yeah, he may also be coming on this show because I spoke to him
Oh,
about
you
it.
asked him?
Yeah,
Oh, I was gonna ask him as well.
I did
Cool.
ask him about, but I'm trying to remember what he actually said because his take on the argument was completely different to your one. But I honestly can't remember what the what the point of the arguments were that he was making.
Oh, damn
So
it.
so we will need to get him on to question him about that. But
Okay, cool.
but the reason why I was calling him, it was a bit weird, is because like not long after we had that talk, I was chatting with Ramira, and we were like, oh, I'd been craving eating more salads and stuff, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, I was just sitting there and I'm like, I'm hungry. What do I want to eat? And
Yeah,
just my mind's just like, get more leafy greens in you. Oh, okay, probably been
yeah,
eating too much meat lately.
yeah. You're turning into hippie. It's okay. I
Yeah.
understand.
Oh no, no, it's worse than that. So we watched this documentary. What was it? I was chatting with Ramira about the talk that we had, and I brought up this documentary Cowspiracy, because that was the one that I was talking about with you. That's saying the agri-farming is what's causing larger amounts of like greenhouse emissions and whatever
Yeah, yeah,
than
yeah,
the entire transportation industry, cars, trucking, shipping, planes, everything
yeah,
combined.
yeah.
And so I was like, we should. She's like, oh, have we seen that? I'm like, yeah, we should watch that again. Um, and so we started watching it, and she's like, oh, yeah, and I don't really want to watch that. Let's go watch something else. And so we watched this doco called What the Health, and that one's
Oh
also
yeah,
on
yeah.
also
That's
on
the
Netflix.
yeah.
And that one's about
Is that the one with the vegan bodybuilder or something?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's such a load of rubbish. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, it's
So I'm
biased.
gonna
It's
shoot it
biased.
down before you
Oh, no, no,
even
no. It's
start talking about. Okay.
no, no. I'm not advocating for it because I was exactly the same at the end. I was just like,
Yeah,
okay, this dude's just. There was plenty of faults throughout it that where Ramir and I were just
yeah,
stopping the video and going like, that stuff he's saying is crap, and
yeah,
he's just trying to like demonize the people that he's talking to, like
yeah,
the Heart Foundation and Diabetes Foundations and stuff, because he's like hammering them about diets. He's like, why has your page got diets that are like, why have they got food recommendations that contain dairy when we know for a fact that that is one of the major
yeah,
leading
yeah,
causes, blah. And the doctor's like, okay, first of all, there's not strong enough evidence to state that conclusively. Secondly, all diets work. All diets work if you
mm,
stick to them.
yeah,
And this guy's like, yeah, but why aren't we talking about this? He's like, look, I'm not going to get into this argument with you.
yeah,
And this guy's like, he could see that the guy didn't want to have that debate about diet, so he's thinking he's on a win, and so he's like trying to play it
yeah,
up and make it. And we're just sitting there like, come on, what is this garbage? So
Yeah.
yeah, so we're hammering it down, and then he gets to the end of the doco, and the guy's like, "Oh, here's a guy who's a bodybuilder, and he's 100% vegan. Here's another dude who's 100% plant-based diet, and he's a parkour expert, and look how lean and fit he is. And then I did it, and now I've done like a quadruple like
Marathon or whatever.
Ironman
Ah, okay,
marathon
yeah,
crap."
yeah,
And I was just like, yeah, cool. I know people that switched to being vegetarians and their health went down and they had to take a whole bunch of
exactly.
supplements and their diet wasn't well
Yeah,
balanced and it's not every body type. And they're like, no, every body type, that's a myth, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's not
yeah,
because I have met people and it's been a negative impact on them.
yeah.
And
I can't. I don't think I could go vegetarian. Like, I mean, I've never tried it, but like,
vegan or vegetarian?
well, vegan. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think I could go vegetarian either. But
yeah, yeah. Well,
I need.
I did
I
it. I did
crave
it.
meat so much.
Yeah, I did it for 9 months, like ages ago. I was fine. There was no health
Yeah,
impacts, whatever. I know that Ramiro and I had been eating more veggies and things of late, and we were feeling a lot better from it. And so I was saying at the
yeah,
end of that, it's like, look, I don't want to like give up meat, but I am interested to see for an experiment to see what it's like if we do just give up meat and just start eating vegetable-based foods.
yeah.
We're
You should try it
vegetarian,
and
so
try it and document it.
we have since Saturday we started.
Yeah, cool.
But it was weird because it was some. Well, okay, no, okay. I suggested it on like Thursday or Friday or something. I said I'd like to try a 100% plant-based diet for 2 weeks to see what it's like. I don't want to just jump in and do it. I want to make sure I
Yeah,
know what things I'm supposed to be eating. We need to have a meal plan. I want to have a balance of like all the different vegetables,
yeah,
fruits, beans, whatever, so that I'm not like doing a shock to my body and I'm not able to, sustain
yeah,
that. I don't want to get sick from it if I'm, just eating a lettuce leaf and going, why aren't I healthy now? Um,
yeah. You need the micronutrients,
yeah.
and you also need the
Well, your gut bacteria needs to take time to build up to break all that
yeah.
stuff down
That's
properly too. It's
yeah,
your digestive tract is not a fast moving system. It's a slow
yeah.
moving
And the
system.
and the other thing is you probably need to do it longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah, but come on, man.
Because
I gotta give up meat for.
no, but all I'm saying is you
Yeah.
probably needed to do longer than 2 weeks because your store of all the nutrients,
Mm,
your ability to have the building blocks of all that nutrients is probably already in you,
mm,
um, like stored in your fat and stuff like that.
yeah.
So, I mean, you really need to go a long time
Yeah.
to see what actually happens.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Because it's like it's like the guys that go on the what's the name diet, the keto diet.
Oh yeah.
It's like they go on the diet, and it's like this is amazing. Or even more extreme, they go on the carnivorous diet and they
Oh
just eat
yeah.
meat,
Yeah.
and it's like this is amazing. I'm like, and it's like, where are you getting your vitamin C from? Oh, you don't actually need vitamin C if you don't eat carbs because that's what vitamin C does. It's like, well, I mean, good luck.
Yeah.
It's just,
That's right. Don't go around any sick people, but yeah.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
these
right.
like, but like because they're like been eating normally
Yeah.
and then they switch to this,
Yeah.
they don't feel the negative effects for a long time
Yeah, right.
because your body already has been running fine,
Yeah.
and it's like running a car down. It's
Yeah,
like
right.
you can drive a car without servicing it
Yeah.
for ages, and then it just finally one day starts
Yeah.
making noises, and you're like, "What happened, man?"
Yeah, exactly. That's right. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, there's
It's
plenty of people that have lived a lifetime as vegetarian and whatever and are
yeah,
perfectly
totally.
healthy doing it, but I'm sure that like
Yeah.
they're eating a pretty well balanced diet. Um,
Well, it's either cultural, so they have cultural meals that
yeah.
they
Yeah.
might not know the balance of diet, but they
Mm,
know, they have
yeah.
foods that they want to eat,
Yeah.
like
People have survived on it
chickpea.
for a lifetime, so they know
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah.
exactly. So it's just been like handed down.
Yeah.
Or you go the other way, which is like what I always think of it as is hydroponics for your body, where it's like you start controlling the environment that your body is growing in, and you basically are now you're taking it off its natural, like chuck it in the
Oh,
soil, see if it grows,
right.
to now like let's uproot it, stick it in a tiny pot with water, and
Yeah.
drip feed it
Yeah.
like everything it needs to survive.
Yeah. Basically
Because
being
you
in a
really,
being a vegetarian in a omnivore society kind of thing.
yeah, and
Yeah.
also coming from an omnivore background,
Yeah.
it's like it's so easy to not know what to eat
Yeah.
because you've got to be um, yeah, you almost need to get blood work and stuff done
Yeah.
when you first start to like
Yeah.
work out what's happening. You get your blood work done, you
Mhm.
do it for a while, get your blood work done again,
Yeah.
see if you're missing anything, see if anything's improved.
Yeah. Well, I did get it done last year, I think it was. Yeah. So I've
Hmm.
got a baseline for it. But yeah, so this was a couple of things that was interesting or not interesting, funny that's come up out of this. Um, one, the smugness. It's just it's intense. We went to the like we ate a vegetarian meal on lunch on Saturday, and then
Yeah,
Saturday night we had it again, and it was good. But then like we'd taken out all these chicken wings, and so it was supposed to marinate them. We did, but we weren't. It was very weird. We ate it, but we the whole time we just didn't feel like wanting it. We weren't craving it. We ate it. And I was just like, yeah, I just ate it because it was out, but I didn't want it, which was weird because I thought I'd definitely be wanting to eat meat.
yeah, yeah,
So the next day again, we eat all these vegetarian meals. It was delicious stuff. Ramira's a really good cook on this. Gets lots of flavors in, lots of different ingredients. Great. We felt really good. Like our energy levels were nice and balanced and all this sort of stuff. And so the next day we go to the shop to buy our veggies and things. And there's a dude in front of us, and he's like pulling out bags of meat that he's purchasing, and like we're both kind of looking at each other like, you see, you see all that? You see all that meat he's buying? Yeah, yeah. See how he's murdering things to eat? Just like. So actually, the question was I asked her, it's like, asked Ramiro, it's like, are you silently judging that man for all the meat that he's buying? And she's like, yeah, but like, yeah, me too. I'm definitely judging him, but this is one thing I've noticed about my diet, for example. Like we mostly ate chicken, a little bit of pork and stuff, but mostly it was
yeah,
just chicken. Um, and then once a month, maybe once every 3 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer, 6 weeks up to, we just get this craving for some sort of beef product, just some
yeah,
sort of red meat. Just I'll be sitting there and I'm just for no reason, like we'd been having nice curries and all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, we could have that again, and my body's just like, I don't want that. And then I just get these flashes of a steak in my mind, and it's
yeah,
just like, get me this, and so I'm like, oh, okay. And so we go out and we eat a whole bunch of steak and or like burgers or whatever, like nice big thick juicy beef patties and stuff, and then just feel better again, like or whatever tension and stuff had been
yeah,
building up,
yeah,
that all gets relieved, and then we're good for another 4 to 6 weeks. Um, but that's what was happening now for like the craving for veggies. I'm just like, I need to get more of this stuff in me. Weirdly, it's happening to Ramira as well. I'm not sure, probably because we have been having a very high salt or meat diet or something, and so body's just like,
mm,
I need some more of this. So we've like got the intention of becoming vegetarian on it, not for any moral values. Oh, this is the other funny thing that came up, right? It's like if that argument's there, it's like you're morally obligated, right, to give up eating meat because it's killing the planet. It's like, well, relax, Simon, because I've now become vegetarian, so therefore the planet is saved because I've taken
well,
meat
that's
out of
good.
my menu, so it's fine. But I was thinking about it,
Yeah.
right?
See,
We,
I wasn't calculating that in my planet destruction thoughts.
yeah,
Now
exactly.
that you're at the tipping point.
Yeah, well, because a vegetarian or a vegan has said like if you're eating meat, you're killing the planet. So I was like, well, I've stopped. So is it saved?
Yeah,
Yeah, of
exactly.
course it is. It is. Otherwise, they're lying at me. Um,
No one would ever do that.
yeah. Why? They got nothing to. There's no self invested in their identity of
Yeah,
being a vegan. So
as you've experienced within like 2 days.
yeah, exactly. Ramiro made this killer post. It was so good.
Yeah,
What was it? Was it I've become vegetarian. When do I get the smugness? Does it arise over time or does it automatically update when I judge people for eating meat? I was just like,
that's
you nailed it.
that's
I was
pretty
gonna,
much it.
I was gonna get her a shirt that says vegan scum and an arrow pointing up.
Oh, that's too funny.
Oh dear. Um, but yeah, so that was the amusing like observations of it. However, I could eat vegetables. Like I said, I've done it for 9 months. It was fine, whatever. But I
Yeah,
was really craving like chicken and ham after a while. Like,
yeah,
but I was like, no, I'm vegetarian, so I'm not gonna do it. But eventually, I caved and ate meat again.
yeah,
So because of choosing not to become vegetarian, for any moral reasons or any like global reasons, any external factors, it's just more like, what is my body craving now?
yeah,
Um, should that then arise, I need to eat some meat again. We go and do it.
exactly.
But Ramiro is making this interesting point. It's like usually by the time your body's telling you to do this, it's already because you've depleted it so much that you're kind of in a bit of an ill health
Yeah,
state. So for example, if you're thirsty, it's
yeah,
because you're
yeah,
already
yeah,
probably
exactly.
dehydrated. So
Yeah,
so her point was like, well, maybe we should just factor in a meal with meat in it every week or every 2 weeks, every month, something like that, um, rather than just waiting for when the craving arises.
yeah,
Um, but my point was too that like I know when to drink water. Or like I'm a lot more in tune with when I should drink water because I can sort of feel it in my body, and I've got experience over time knowing what it feels like when I've not had enough. So the same could be then for my diet. Like if I'm not getting enough of something, it's good to take note of the time span that has gone past from when I stopped having that to when I start craving it.
yeah. It's
Um,
also interesting, like what, um, because it's always interesting with the body, like, and it telling you to get stuff.
mm,
Um, like, because they always say that a lot of that is gut bacteria. They're
yeah,
kind of leaning towards your gut bacteria is communicating to your head
yeah,
and telling the body, go get this for us.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, and that can be
so
unhealthy when it comes to like sugar.
yeah, exactly, and
Yeah,
carbohydrates and stuff like that. So have you
yeah.
stopped sugar?
No, no.
Okay,
But what I'm
well that
finding
that's
is,
that's kind of good.
yeah, I'm craving it a lot less though.
Yeah,
So,
well, I mean,
yeah,
but it's good though. It's
yeah.
good that you didn't do two things at once
No, no, no.
because it's really interesting what will happen.
Yeah, well,
Like that's the main thing.
this is the thing. We weren't making a moral choice. It's not like I am going
Yeah,
to now be vegetarian. It's more, I am craving a lot of vegetables. I'm not craving meat. Okay, so just
yeah.
go eat a bunch of vegetarian meals for a while. It's like, yeah, okay,
Well,
easy.
that's really the only way to do it, which is what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what I was so strongly um,
Yeah,
rejecting from.
that's right, because if you make it a moral point, you're ignoring the needs of your body.
But you're also demonizing people that aren't making the choice you're making.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like I wanted to
You know,
avoid.
that's the worst part of it.
Yeah,
It's like you in your head are starting to go, you're worse than me because this is actually a moral thing.
yeah. But then whenever you
And
crave it, you're also telling yourself you're bad. You're basically telling your body
yeah,
bad for
exactly.
wanting this
Yeah,
thing, which
yeah,
is.
exactly. You start becoming a Christian.
Oh, I thought about the
Yeah,
sexual relations again.
yeah,
I'm going to hell.
exactly.
Uh,
That's pretty much what it is. So it's,
yeah,
I mean, let's make it non-denominational. You start to
sure.
become religious,
Yeah,
but
okay,
it's
yeah.
mostly Christianity because of the guilt.
Yeah, but that's also the
most
one.
religions don't have most
But
religions don't have guilt.
yeah, that's true. But that's also the one we know
Yeah,
most as well. But yeah.
yeah,
Um,
but
yeah, no, it's so I'm interested to see how long this lasts for. Like, what is it I'm craving? How's my health turning? Because at the moment I'm feeling good. My
yeah,
digestion has returned to like a regularity. I'm not craving sugar as anywhere near as much as what I did before. My energy levels are stabilizing. It's been only really since I guess Sunday properly, because Saturday night I
hmm
had the chicken. But yeah, like it's kind of leveling off and it's feeling nice. But like you said, it could just be a storehouse of my body's now eating the fats and things that it was storing all that particular things it needed in. And once all
yeah,
that's depleted, then I'm like, where do I get that from again?
yeah. And the interesting thing is, um, like, because you also get the determination energy. You get that, like, where you start doing something and you get on a streak,
Oh yeah,
and it's like the momentum gets built up, and it's easier. It gets easier and easier to say, let's do another day.
you're right.
Like with exercise and stuff like that. It's really hard in the beginning,
Yep,
then gradually, it's like how when I stopped drinking, it's like hard, easier, 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 easier.
yep,
Now I don't even,
yep,
you don't even think about it.
yep.
So it's like there is that part of it as well, where it's like you've been accustomed to this diet,
Yeah,
you go away from that diet. After a while, it starts getting hard because you're like your body starts wanting to go into old patterns.
yeah,
But once you get over that hill, then you can just start creating a new pattern.
yeah, yeah. I guess
So
that's the
it,
thing. Like we're messing with biology, and that takes time to adjust. And
yeah, and
it's
that's why I was describing it like a hydroponic sort of plant. It's
yeah, yeah, right.
like once you stop being that like eat anything machine,
Yeah,
you start having to like focus on what you're eating because it's like I have to get this much protein, I have to
yeah,
get this much like iron, I have to get this much sodium, I have to
yeah.
because I told you what happened when I did the keto for like a couple of weeks, didn't I?
Did you?
Like we, yeah, maybe I probably did, probably didn't, but we decided to go. I decided to go keto,
Yeah,
me and my wife. So we're like, let's go keto, um, because I wanted to lose weight.
yeah.
And first weekend, I'd already lost like 5 kilos, which was mostly water.
Oh, in a
Um,
week.
yeah. So
Dang.
it was mostly water
Sure.
and change of diet
Yeah.
because I stopped eating all the sugar, I stopped eating all the bread, I stopped
Right.
eating everything.
Right.
But what they don't tell you, which I finally got into reading, was you don't have any salt in your diet. So there's no salts in your diet when you have on keto,
Oh.
because keto is meats,
Yep.
um, fats,
Yep.
vegetables.
Oh, you cut out carbs, is it?
Yeah, so you're cutting out carbs and
Yeah.
sugars,
Oh.
but there's no
Right.
salt in any of this. So what ends up happening, which is what happens, is all the retained water from your
Ah.
high sodium diet just flushes out of your system. I
Right.
was peeing like 7, 8 times a day. Like
Jesus.
throughout the night, I'd get up with a full bladder like 3 times a night for the first
Jesus.
week.
Yep.
And I was just like peeing, peeing, peeing. Like it was just like clear water just rushing through me. And after the first week, I started getting leg cramps like you would not believe.
Yeah. Right.
Like I would wake up in the middle of the night, grabbing my calf, just like,
Oh,
like just
Jesus.
scream, not being able to, I couldn't get out of it. Like it would just be stuck in this leg cramp for like
Oh
a
God.
good couple minutes, and like just the worst leg cramps I've
Yeah.
ever had in my life.
Yeah, I get them in
So
my
I'm like,
foot from time to time. Just
yeah.
yeah.
So I'm like, crap, I don't have enough salts.
Yeah.
So I'm looking up leg cramps, keto, and it's
Mm.
like, yeah, you're not getting any salt in your diet, so you have to add extra salt. So you then end up having to salt everything.
Yeah.
Um, and then also, so then I was like, screw this, and I went and got a multivitamin, which
Right.
I never eat multivitamins. So I'm just
Sure.
like, I'm going to take a
Yep.
multivitamin because I don't know what I'm missing.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
started taking multivitamins, and it got rid of the cramps.
Yep.
But by like week 2 to 3,
Mm.
my digestion just stopped
Oh, Jesus.
for like 3 days or something. And I was
Yeah.
like, nah, screw this. And we both were having problems, and we're just like, nah, go back. And
Yeah.
we just stopped it,
Yeah.
and everything went back to normal again.
Yeah.
And it's like, not saying that will happen, but that's an example of like me not really knowing what I'm doing,
Mm.
looking on the internet for a few recipes,
Yeah.
like all of a sudden going, crap, my body no longer has sodium, magnesium, and
Yeah.
and potassium in it,
Yeah.
and having to try and adjust on the fly, and it was just it
Yeah.
was just really bad.
And
So
like I was pointing out before, is that by the time you get to that point,
yeah,
you already like when your
yeah,
body's sending
you've
you those
already
signals, it's like that's because you're completely depleted. You should have been having this a few days or a week ago. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, and that's why like the first week there was no effects.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the week after where all of a sudden there was no salts in my body,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But the
that's.
other effect,
Oh. Yep.
uh, just one more effect.
Yep.
It was incredibly expensive. If you try and go on a high fat, low carb diet,
Mm.
you will probably double your food bill.
You
Bare
kidding?
minimum, doubling it.
Why?
Well, how much is a loaf of bread?
Well, I mean, a few bucks.
Yeah, $3 here, probably less there. Um,
The crappy bread, sure. Yep.
right, I'm just talking about like
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. I
mighty
hear you.
soft or
Yeah.
just like
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cup.
just like
Yeah.
just white bread.
Yeah.
How much is um, a bag of pasta with some
Yes.
sauce
Ultra cheap.
and some
Yep.
mince?
Yep.
Right, it's like 10, $15.
The mince is
How
expensive.
much?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How much is a steak with olive oil, eggs, cream, butter, like
All right.
fresh vegetables, like
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And it's like all of that stuff is so expensive to it's so expensive to produce oil over carbohydrate.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's like
Yeah.
it's so expensive. And part of me is like maybe that's why we're eating so much carbohydrates because it's like cheaper. Um, and
Yeah.
so it's not necessarily a good thing. But on the other side of it, I think you have to have some of it. Like I couldn't do it. Like I know people that are on it that can do it for ages. I've seen them on the internet and stuff.
Sure.
But
Yeah, but
you don't.
I don't know how transparent people that are like promoting these kind of diets are. I don't
That's
know.
exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't see the handful of pills they're taking alongside of it to maintain regular body health. Because like,
Yeah.
what was it? Joe Rogan talks about his carnivore diet where he just like shoots an elk or something and eats that.
Yeah.
But he does talk about all these supplements that he takes along with it. It's like you got to have that stuff. You need to have
Yeah.
this additional things in your body.
Yeah.
Um,
And he also takes human growth hormone and
yeah,
testosterone and like.
yeah, all that weird additional stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's probably to counter half of the poisons that he's putting in himself with all the
Well,
um,
yeah.
drugs and things he used to enjoy. But yeah, it, because they've got an agenda to sell this idea of they're better.
Yeah.
So my way is better, therefore here's how it's all purely beneficial. Um, Because as soon as you start saying, well, I went vegetarian and I felt deathly ill, people are like, well, I ain't gonna
Yeah,
touch that one. It's like, yeah, but it's
yeah,
really good for the
exactly.
environment. It's like,
Yeah,
so what? You know what's the best thing for environment? Dying. If
yeah,
we just kill off
that's true.
most humanity, that's the best thing we can do for our planet right now. Kill 90% of us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So yeah, it just it doesn't make sense. So I don't want to I don't want to take on being like more vegetarian in my meals for any other reason than because of how I'm feeling with regard to my health. And if I need to eat meat, I'm gonna go and eat it. And
Yeah,
so
and
Ramiro
that's
was like,
exactly it.
yeah, Ramiro is going like, oh, do we tell people we're vegetarian now or not? It's like, well, we don't know. It's only been a few days, and
You probably don't want to create a self around it.
yeah, I mean that's right. But at the moment it's reasonably easy to do that, to not create self because we're still in lockdown here.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's fine.
and so
But what
it,
I'm saying is,
yeah,
like, you don't
but
want to be like,
yeah, but
I'm joining all the Facebook groups of,
oh yeah, no, I'll get recipes of it and stuff, and I'll make
yeah,
those jokes about like how I'm saving the planet because I'm vegetarian, but I'm not actually invested in it, and as far as an identity goes. But what can make that difficult is if you go to like a party with friends and they're like, hey, you want like a sausage or whatever, and it's like, sorry,
mm,
I'm actually vegetarian now, and then the next week you show up just stuffing your face with a burger, they're gonna be like, oh, "You're the worst," and that's
yeah,
because like, yeah, because that personality has been built up around being vegan or
yeah,
vegetarian. It's
exactly.
that I'm doing better than you
Yeah.
because
And it's
I
also, you
have
don't
made
want
this
to,
moral choice.
yeah, and you also don't want to be forcing yourself to be it because you've created a self around it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You know,
just
like, because you can put yourself in corners like that where it's like
yeah,
mentally,
yeah.
it's like,
So I think it's like if we do eat a meal with chicken in it or beef or pork or whatever, it's just like, I'm gonna post that up and let people know that
mm,
I needed it. I wanted to eat some of that for the
yeah,
day. I'm happy. I've been pretty happy not eating any meat for the past like 4 days, 5 days, whatever. But um, if I need to eat meat, that's fine. If I only need to eat it once or twice a week, okay, fine. I'm happy to
mm,
do that. Whatever, because it's about my own health rather than
yeah,
about
exactly.
an idea of morality or saving the planet or any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is what else is coming up because we started watching these documentaries about. It's called Rotten on Netflix,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's all like I was wondering if it was just about the lies behind what is and isn't healthy food, but what it's actually
Mm,
about is the globalization of food production and how it's just like
yeah,
destroying small community-based, like your
yeah, yeah,
cottage farm kind of ideas. Um,
yeah,
and I was thinking like the biggest seller of chicken is this like Brazilian company, for example. They are the largest producer in the world of it. They're making like a huge chunk of providing billions, like billions and billions of
yeah, yeah.
chickens worldwide. Um, if every person in Australia stopped eating chicken, that would make almost no impact whatsoever on this business. Like it'd
Yeah,
be it'd
no,
be a little
yeah,
bit, but they'd be like, no big deal.
yeah. Dude, it's like when I was working in the bank in Perth,
Mm,
I had a customer that came in wanting a credit card,
mm.
right? He was from Indonesia,
Yeah.
and he said to me he owned a chicken farm.
Okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, how many chickens do you have? And he said, oh, about 100 million.
Okay, that's a lot.
Exactly. And I was like, well, that's not really a farm, but
They're like, no, they're in
but
terrible condition. We just
it,
stack them.
that's pretty much what they're doing, right? So it's
Jeez.
like
That's
this,
terrifying.
this, well, this is the thing. There is a health aspect to not eating that sort of meat,
Mm.
like not eating the um,
Oh, that's better.
highly farmed, uh, all the factory farming and stuff,
Yeah,
um, because of what they say. Like they're basically putting antibiotics into them,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
to stop them from getting the diseases, because the diseases are rampant because they're so close together.
yeah,
Um, and then those things are then transferring over to us,
yeah.
and they're also, and I mean, up until recently, when they discovered the Creutzfeldt-Jakob
Oh, yeah.
disease in the
Mad cow.
cows, they were
Yeah.
feeding cows, which is like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's it's like the
Yeah.
that side of it is insane, but at
Yeah.
the same time, how do you feed this many people without doing
Yeah, well,
it?
if you want to
It's
globalize it, if you want to globalize your market in that, then
okay.
that's the only way to do that high level factory farming. If you want to like make it local market stuff, then you stop that ability to do um, globalization of it and turn it into local market instead, because that's what's destroying all of the
But
local
but
market.
how but how expensive would that be? That's my question.
Yeah, these
And would those low
no, it's ridiculous. It's
excuse
like two to three times more
could,
expensive.
could I get some water, please? Sorry. Got
Yeah,
a
no,
dry throat. But yeah,
yeah, it's two to three times more expensive, um, because the farming practices that are needed to raise these things. Like this series, it's very interesting because it's about the business side of food production,
yeah,
and it's sort of showing, like, for example,
thank
the,
you.
the chicken farms. If you want to make it like organic or barn raised chickens and whatnot, it's you have to take so much more care into rearing and maintaining these birds that you have to charge two three times to keep it afloat.
Yeah.
So sure, there's people around that can afford that, but most people, especially like lower income ones, just you can't put that into your regular diet unless you're reducing your meat consumption.
Or
Um,
you're rich.
yeah,
Yeah.
or you're rich, and but also what's happening was you're getting all these dodgy farming facilities that are shipping their product from their own nation to other nations, and because they're able to produce en masse with no regulations behind it, with no minimum wages behind it, all that stuff, they can produce a huge mass of meat or protein substance and sell it for a fraction of the cost of what a local farmer would be able to do.
Yeah.
So the only way you stop that is that you stop trade,
Well, you stop globalization,
globalization trade. Yeah,
which is what the populist movement is.
yeah,
So the populist movement is based around, um, America first. It's like it's
yeah,
based around the country first.
yeah,
Stop making all these trade deals and ties with everyone,
yeah,
and bring it back to how it used to be.
yeah,
But the problem with that is you have the economic issues. Um, my daughter lost her first tooth, so she's very excited.
oh,
Um,
getting a visit from the tooth fairy.
yeah, she asked me what the this is a complete aside. She asked
Yeah.
me what does the tooth fairy do with the teeth? And I said, I don't know. What do you think? And she's like, I heard that she eats them.
It's just like this big tooth. Dear.
do you remember? Do you remember Ren and Stimpy?
Oh yeah, yeah, the old cartoon. Oh, what was
Where
that
he
one?
like
Oh, it's like this
he
hairy little.
flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he takes the tooth back, puts it on the pile, and just like smells them. It's just
Dear. Yeah, that's hilarious. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Anyway, back to globalization.
yeah,
So The problem that you have with local markets is that they are inefficient, and you cannot stop a capitalist movement from taking advantage of cheaper prices.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have that whatever country does this first loses advantage and quickly gets taken over.
Its
So
markets get taken over.
yeah, it loses market share, it loses its economy gets shrunk,
Yeah, right.
it becomes inefficient, and soon begins to break apart. So I mean, people don't. The problem is people are trying to unscramble an egg, and you can't unscramble an egg. Like it's like trying to. It's like looking back to your childhood and saying, "Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, right.
Why isn't that like that now?"
Yeah, right.
It's like what you have to do is have to move forward with the system. You can't move backwards with the system. You have to say, how can we make the farming practices better? How like see this is the thing. Everyone's focused on animals because my theory is they're trying to stop people from eating animals because it's one of the major climate change drivers.
Mm.
But no one's focusing on vegetable production, which was which is equally as horrific. Like the amount of cleared space they're making every year to grow freaking vegetables that isn't meant to grow on that type of soil
Yeah.
is ridiculous. Like they're completely just like destroying the rainforest. Like there's so you're just listening to someone who's talking about rainforest deforestation
Mm.
and how the soils in a rainforest, especially he was specifically talking about the Amazon,
Right.
is extremely poor. So you think there's this massive ecosystem, this huge thing, there'd be deep, rich soils, but it's actually just mostly rubbish sand underneath once you get a few feet below.
Right.
So what they do is they deforest the whole area, plant crops on it for a few years, and then it doesn't work anymore.
Oh,
And so then they
jeez.
deforest another area, plant crops on it for a few years,
Oh my
and then it
God.
doesn't work anymore. Which is, by the way, the same thing that the Americans did in they moved across America growing tobacco. And because tobacco didn't really like was not is not a good plant to grow for
Mm.
soil, you could only grow X. I think it was like 7 crops of tobacco before the land was destroyed, and you couldn't grow tobacco on it anymore.
Jesus.
Which is where the idea of like rotational crops comes from,
Yeah.
where it's like this one grows this, then it
Yeah.
goes over there, then it goes, and you're trying to maintain. It's like artificially trying to create an ecosystem,
Yeah.
basically out of a monoculture.
Yeah.
So like not you so you have that right. You have that part of farming,
Yeah.
like plant-based farming. You also have the pesticides that are used and
Yeah.
the fertilizers that are used
Yeah.
and the mass destruction of habitat for animals and the complete wiping out of species.
Yeah.
You have like even just in the harvesting of food, just think about how many animals die in the harvesting of food. Like just think of all the mice, the rabbits, the snakes,
Okay. Yeah.
all the stuff that lives in there, and
Yeah.
you're just coming through with a combine harvester and just
Killing it all.
decimating them,
Yeah.
right? Which is going into your food. So it's like think of all the bugs that grow on things
Yeah.
like I don't know how minute like vegetarians want to get with this stuff, but it's like there's there's like
Got to get your
you
proteins.
can't well that's probably what they're living on. So it's like there's there's just no escaping.
Yeah.
Life needs to destruct other life
Yeah.
to keep living, and it's
Yeah,
like
that's right. And the more of us we're creating, the more we have to absorb other biological matter in order to sustain
yeah,
it. Yeah.
but unless we can start combining atoms out of dirt and creating that white soupy stuff in the matrix,
Mm.
there's like you're basically
Well, there's plenty
you
of dead
don't.
bodies going to waste. I'm just saying.
No, that's
Yeah.
true, especially with COVID. But yeah, the
Yes.
this is the thing, though, right? It's
I
like
wonder how long that's gonna
there's
be. Yeah, scientist creates enzymes that decomposes bodies and turns them into protein bars. Oh, I'm
Soylent
100%
Green,
sustained on dead people.
but this is the thing, right? It's like, y-
I only eat
like,
vegetarians.
but this is but this is why you can't you can't get away from it. There
Mm,
is no getting away from it. So you
no.
can only take
Yeah.
the position that you're taking,
Yeah.
which is my body's craving this, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can say to what degree I'm affecting the planet.
Yeah.
You can say I'm affecting the planet less.
Yeah.
If that is even true, when you take in all of the stuff you do,
Yeah.
because it's like I could eat a steak but sit at home for the whole day
Mm,
and have a lower carbon emission than someone who eats vegetarian and is a lorry driver.
yeah.
It's like it's like you
Yeah.
can't. It's such a
Who
complicated equation.
smokes? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a complicated equation.
Yeah.
You can't just go. It's just way too simplistic,
Yeah.
and is why I think vegetarians are stupid.
Yeah. No, it's not about. Yeah. No, the stance of I am making a difference to the environment is
Hey,
stupid. The actual
yeah,
vegetarian diet itself, fine. If your body does well on that, okay, great,
uh,
whatever.
do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Like it's your body.
yeah, but
It's like
it's not a choice for morality and environment on that. That
like there was someone that lived just on chips for ages.
yeah, sure, uh,
There was like a kid that would only eat like fish and chips, like
right,
hot chips,
right, yeah,
and that's
yeah,
that's all he lived on for like 10 years or something.
yeah. I'm sure he's heavily malnourished in certain areas.
Yeah, but it's like
Yeah,
there's no,
yeah,
yeah, it's a weird one.
no, and that's the other concern about people that focus on the nutrient levels of food and stuff is that you become like hyper focused on it, or people can tend to get hyper focused on it
Yeah,
to the point where you're eating these bizarre diet based weird things because it's
yeah,
like if I eat that it causes too much of the free radicals, if I eat this one it causes too much of
yeah,
the
yeah,
cholesterol, and you just get stuck in a bubble of not really knowing what you're eating, the stress about what you're consuming, constantly monitoring your body health and so on, and you're gonna die anyway. You probably die faster because your nervous system's shot because of all the stress you're putting yourself under. But
well, yeah. I mean
the
mm,
point
go.
the point that was coming out of what we were looking at these food manufacturings is that it there's almost no point telling people to be vegetarian because, like I said, the entirety of Australia could just do it. Like we could manage to convince everyone in Australia don't eat meat, and it would make almost almost no difference at all
Yeah,
to the entire agri farming, and like can you imagine the movement you would have to make in order to get that to happen just in Australia itself? Like,
to
yeah,
get rid of barbecues.
yeah, exactly. It's just not gonna
Yeah,
happen. And so yeah, the larger scale things is these multinational corporations that are taking over our food industry. But not only that, it was kind of disturbing to see the level of shortcuts that were being taken in the food production itself.
mm,
Like we were looking at what was happening in the honey industry, looking at what's happening in the poultry industry, looking at what happened in the milk
yeah.
industry. I saw that,
Is that where they were like they were just putting sugar syrup in the honey
yeah,
and
that's
like
right. And there's like this competition between whether or not the
yeah,
machines can detect the impurities and the people that
yeah,
are able to like come up with new ways to get past the
yeah,
machines. Which is just insane.
which is exactly like the Olympics. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
it's like yeah, there's
Um,
when there's that desire, you can't stop it.
yeah, and the most recent one we saw was about cow milk. So people were drinking raw milk because it's like
Oh yeah,
it's got all the
yeah.
healthy bacteria, but it's like, oh yeah, but you roll of the dice, you might catch you get an E. coli kind of a based sickness.
My mum got it when we were living on a dairy farm in America.
Jesus.
We would get they would go they'd be milking the cows.
Oh,
She would ladle up some pure milk with the cream on top, bring it back, and we'd eat it and drink it. And one day, mum,
swallowed that
yeah,
water wrong.
yeah, yeah, one day that's what happened. Like,
Jesus.
mum got what they called milk fever,
Oh,
which is
milk fever.
which is like basically what Pasteur stopped
Yeah.
by pasteurizing and homogenizing the milk. Well, the homogenization probably isn't as important, but
No.
the pasteurizing is.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah, the dude said
uh,
like you're what is it? If you're drinking unpasteurized milk, you're basically increasing by 150 times the likelihood that you're going to catch any one of this whole long list of diseases.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, well, that
yeah,
sucks. I mean,
yeah.
don't
So
get me wrong. Yes, you can improve your farming methods so that like the chance of catching these diseases is greatly
yeah,
reduced. Um, but there was like, well, there was only a few cases of kids just getting seriously sick, like
yeah,
in a coma for 5 days, hooked up to all sorts of machines, not sure if they're going to pull through level sick from drinking raw milk that was contaminated with like an E. coli.
yeah. Well, at the end of the day,
Mm.
it's like companies will not do something that they don't have to.
Yeah, and that
So,
was the driving force was that they were making 2 to 3 times the amount of money per liter
okay,
sold. Um,
yeah,
and so a lot of these like small little ma and pa cottage farms are selling their
yeah,
organic based raw blah 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 because it's
yeah,
such
yeah,
a movement in the market, but
yeah,
it's so uncontrolled to the health standard that somebody's like you're drinking your cup of milk, you're having your fat, and then next thing you're dead or you're
yeah.
seriously
And
sick.
it's in Australia it's called bath milk. Like that they there was a loophole where you could sell raw milk as long as it wasn't consumed.
Ah,
So they
right.
started selling it as bathing milk,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all the people that like that stuff were drinking it. But it's like it's there's a reason why it's done. It's again it's not there's not like
yeah.
it's not like someone just randomly was like, let's just heat this milk up before we put it
No,
serve it.
it's stacks of
it
people are dying from drinking milk. Let's
yeah,
find a way to
it's like
stop that.
it's called pasteurization because the dude invented it,
Yeah,
and everyone was like, "Woohoo! We're not dying from drinking milk anymore."
yeah.
It's it's just so
Well, that's the
it's like
thing that's the thing that's missing from society is death.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's
you're people talking about, oh, what did people eat and drink before? Like people survived to the good old age of like 80, 90, and they were healthy and this because
yeah,
their
yeah,
food was all untainted and unmodified. It's like, well, actually, what was happening was that people were having families of 5 or 6 children and losing maybe half of them, sometimes
yeah.
more, sometimes less, because there was so much disease and sickness around from the foods they were eating and from the lifestyles that they were living, and from the fact there was different viruses around that you could catch that there was no cure for. People were just dying all the time, and and
Well,
our
especially mothers.
yeah, and like the only reason why our population was expanding largely is because the health practices got a lot better.
Yeah,
But because we're in a society where we're going, oh, well, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to die because my body is like being poisoned by this food that I'm putting in it. It's like, well, look, air itself is actually slowly killing you.
yeah. I mean, and I mean, there's so many impurities in air. Did you see? I didn't tell you about this. They found microplastics in fetuses.
I think you
So
did mention that one.
did I?
Oh,
Maybe you just read it.
I've heard it recently. Oh no,
Yeah.
Ramiro
So
was
that
telling me. Yeah, go on.
yeah, yeah. So basically, this thing that they're just finally noticing is that plastics break down, break down, break down, break down, break down, break down until they're a few microns across, and then they can go between the blood barriers, um, and they can go get into the fetus, like into the liquid,
Yeah.
and the fetus breathes them in, and well, they don't breathe, but they ingest them. It's like basically the water and the placenta that they checked for all these mothers. I think it was like it was a large amount. It was like 80% or something ridiculous had microplastics in them. Now,
Jesus.
whether the microplastics do anything, they don't know because they didn't study that.
Right.
Um, but a lot of microplastics, well, not a lot of a lot of plastics mimic hormone receptors,
Oh.
which is why they're having problems with which is where Alex Jones gets his the lining of the juice boxes are turning the frogs gay. It's like
Damn. I gotta watch more Alex Jones. That guy's bananas.
but from from inference, he's
That's
he's
just
he's
that's a real leap.
yeah, but
Oh God.
um but yeah, the thing is that it's like the leaching of the plastic.
Mm,
The chemicals into the water
mm.
is affecting hormones.
Yeah, right.
Um, so like they've had to get like BPA's and what's the other one? It's the styrofoam stuff. Um,
Oh, uh, poly something. What is it?
yeah, something poly something.
Oh,
Um, those are known
yeah.
to affect to be hormone disruptors
Jesus.
because they mimic the receptor.
That's terrifying.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, and this is the thing. It's like
And you're
it's
just
like
born
all of
with
a
it
sudden
now. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like all of a sudden your body, like especially for men, you get a lot of estrogen.
All right.
It like mimics estrogen. Well, I mean for women as well, you can't have too much estrogen.
Mm.
Which is why the next generation is a whole bunch of pussies. Um, that
Sorry. Harden up, boys.
it's all those damn microplastics.
Yeah. It's not their fault. They're just
But but if you think about how much plastic is in the universe, I mean in the Earth right now.
yeah.
I mean the universe probably has a lot as well,
Yeah.
but just think about
No, this is the problem. So what I was saying is like people are worried about dying because we have such a comfortable life. It's also highly sheltered from death itself. Like we just started watching another Netflix show about surviving death. So the you know near-death experiences, communication with the other side, and all that sort of stuff. I have never watched anyone die. I've seen animals die a couple times,
hmm,
but very rarely, and it is a weird
yeah,
process. They're just like moving and then they stop, and then that's it. It's like,
yeah,
oh, there is nothing there anymore. Um,
yeah. I've seen a couple of people die. Yeah.
what, through the whole process?
I didn't get to the end with one of them, but I mean, I've seen it on TV a couple times.
Oh,
And as a monk, I would sit at the hospital, and
yeah.
especially Bill,
Oh, yeah.
uh, I sat with him on his last day just before he died. Like you'd think he died a couple hours later.
Right.
Um,
Sure. Yeah, I've seen people.
yeah,
I've seen people that were sick and very close and died within a day or
mm,
so of that. But it's not like it's not like where you would have a family again of like six people around you, seven people,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you're just there like, oh, they're dead now, kind of thing. It's
yeah. No,
You know,
it's
you
very hard to get. It's very hard to be part of that process unless you're part of the family because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
so personal.
yeah, that's right. But it's so removed because even then, even if you are in the family, it's especially if they're elderly, it's they can be taken away into a hospital.
Yeah,
They're hooked
yeah,
up to a whole bunch of
yeah,
machines. Everything is all, I don't know, sterilized. You may not even be around them at the time anyway.
yeah,
And so the process is removed from us, and then what's happening is that people are so not used to it. The idea of it is terrifying,
yeah,
and nobody wants to die. They're thinking, why isn't technology better? How come we've got so much learning, but I'm still eating microplastics? Why is my body getting unhealthy? How come I'm aging still? Why hasn't that been fixed?
yeah,
Oh my God, we're gonna die. Um, as opposed to like, yeah, it's something that every single human has ever done before you. Every single one of them has
yeah,
gone through this already. You will do it as well yourself. Stop freaking out so much about it and worrying so much about the health.
yeah,
Um, I mean, that being said, you don't want to be old and sickly for a long time either. That would suck too. You want to make that as
yeah,
good as possible. But you have to realize that part of its biology is nothing you can do about that side of it at the moment. Um, and the other part is that you will die of something anyway,
yeah.
regardless
No,
of what you do.
exactly.
Uh, and I think that's where a lot of this issue is coming from is that people in developed countries, sorry, I don't know what it's like in underdeveloped countries, just the ones that I've experienced, it's very much removed, and we don't have this sense of comfort about moving to the next life.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that,
The
yeah, I mean that,
well, I
yeah,
also find it interesting that almost always the products that they say will make you healthy, you're not. It's very rare that they say don't do something. It's more if they ever do, it's always but then add this thing
yeah,
and that'll do it. That thing will do it. It's like turmeric and like
yeah,
I think those are the what's the lion's mane mushroom and um, there's all these like things that they say to eat that go in these fads like blueberries and
yeah, right.
what was it when we were like
Goji
around?
berries.
It's like yeah, red wine.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Mm.
all these things. It's like dark chocolate will do
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
It's
yeah. The
it's
antioxidant producing stuff, and yeah,
yeah. It's like very few things are um very. It's it. How do I say this? You are more likely to have an effect by not eating things
mm.
than you are from eating anything. So it's like
Yeah,
it's your body's going to be more healthy if you stop eating things
yeah,
than if you eat random things that they tell you to. Because
yeah,
it's like it's the act of the chemical interactions in your body
yeah,
caused by digestion and breathing that
yep,
is what's killing you.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
it's not the oh, but if I put the right things in,
yeah,
then I'll get the exact chemical reaction that I need to stop all this stuff from happening. It's
yeah.
like
No, no.
it's
Existing is means you're dying, and
yeah, and most of these studies and all this stuff are biased,
mm,
lacking in scientific proof,
yeah,
lacking in methodology, lacking in this, lacking in
yeah,
that. It's
yeah,
all just like random small studies. Like, it's like, I mean, cancer should have been cured by eating five things
mm,
in everyone. If everyone just ate these five things, because everything gets reduced by 20%. If you eat these five things, you should have no cancer ever.
oh
It's like,
yeah. That's what
you
that
know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, that doco that I was watching, that
yeah,
health, whatever, what the health, it's just like just go plant-based, it'll fix everything. It's like,
yeah,
look,
yeah,
I
exactly.
volunteered in a cancer support um set like community. I was there with the group meetings and stuff, and yeah, there was like a lot of health benefits that come out of that because your body is under such heavy attack from the chemo that they're going under. It's
Yeah,
like, yes, you need this nutrient dense diet now
yeah,
to really give you a boost, and that may help a lot. However, it didn't help everyone. There was some that's just like,
yeah,
I'm dying. I'm gonna die.
yeah.
And that's what it is.
And
It's like,
there's
yeah,
and those are the people that get preyed on because
yeah,
the desperation to not die is so high
yeah.
that you start doing crazy things. Did you ever watch Man on the Moon? The Andy Kaufman one with
Oh no.
Jim Carrey as Andy Kaufman.
No, I didn't.
Uh, so that's my daughter. So in that, so Andy Kaufman is a famous comedian that
Yeah,
was on SNL, and he was in Taxi Driver, not Taxi Driver, Taxi. Um, he was like a surrealist, and he was one of the early like really weird comics.
yeah.
Jim Carrey plays him. He eventually gets cancer and dies.
Right.
But there's a scene in the movie where Jim Carrey's playing him. He's got cancer. He's realized he's dying, and he's like trying to stop from dying. And he's like in this like crystal healer's place, and they've got all these crystals on his chakras, and they're
Mm,
like, look, I'm gonna cleanse your energy cycles and blah blah blah.
yeah,
And there's this moment in the movie that I always remember because he's just like it just clicks. He realizes how ridiculous it is, and he just starts laughing and gets off the table. And it's like
yeah.
there's just no, like, there is no escape. Like you can't.
No, point to me an immortal. Show me one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Did you hear that one with Rogan? He was like, some dude spent like $100 million on anti-aging stuff.
Really? No.
Yeah, it was just recently. He was talking to someone. I only
Oh,
caught like about 10 minutes of it because I was in a car trip,
oh, okay.
and
I'm a little
he
behind on
was like,
those.
"Yeah, it's not mine because it's on Spotify now, so I
Yeah.
never watch it." But
Yeah.
he was saying that he was talking to the guy, and this guy's like telling him about this billionaire who's spending like $100 million. He's now 80, and Joe Rogan's like, "Oh, bring up some pictures." And for $100 million, this is Joe Rogan's like, "Oh yeah, he looks pretty good." Like it's, it wasn't
Yeah.
like, "Wow, he looks
Yeah.
20." It's like this dude looks like a god. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can see like he looks pretty good for his age.
Yeah.
It's like that's what $100 million in research and development into anti-aging gets you.
Yep. Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah, exactly. Look, I don't doubt there is, well, what's his name? Brett Weinstein was talking about the telomere chains and how that is,
yeah,
you're screwed one way or the other. You either are immortal, but will your cell
turn
development,
into a cancer.
yeah, your cell replication is immortal and you turn into cancer,
Yeah,
or your cell replication is finite and you die.
yeah,
So either way, you're screwed.
yeah,
Yep. So until they can work out how to stop the cancerous growth um, factor from happening, like giving the cells an ability to communicate with each other to limit their count,
yeah,
you're gonna die of cancer if you get to live long enough.
yeah. Or eventually you're going to become. It's like, say you're immortal, you're eventually going to get caught in a supernova, or um,
Yeah, yeah, you'll die one way or another. Look,
you're flying through the atmosphere and you like are
yeah.
immortal, and an asteroid hits you, or
Well,
it's like
I think you just
this,
lose the will to live, to be honest. I always like all those vampire movies where you get the like aged
yeah,
vampire and they're embracing the sun. It's like, finally. Because
yeah.
I can't
Or
imagine
they just
like 1,000
go
years of
into
existence. Yeah.
like a, what is it, a Ragnarok, where you like, isn't that like where you get the vampires go into like a massive sleep?
thought
from
I only think of Thor when it comes to Ragnarok.
yeah. Can you just type it in? I might
Oh,
be completely getting it wrong, but
okay.
it's like when vampires go into a deep sleep and they like sleep for like 1,000 years or something. I'll entertain everyone with a puppy.
All right.
Hello.
Vampires can instinctively. Oh no, that's when dawn is arising.
Just type in vampire Ragnarok or something.
Okay, yeah, I'll try that.
Hmm. I might be completely getting it wrong, but
Not that's a game thing. Uh,
is it? Oh, it might be
vampire
like I mean,
long sleep. Mm.
eh. Let's
Yeah,
just
no,
just
sorry,
drop it.
doesn't come up. Yeah, well, isn't that
But anyway,
there was that
there's a
that
name for it, but I'm not remembering it.
that's what the Odin sleep. In Thor, he would like just basically disappear in sleep for like 1,000 years or whatever,
Mm,
and then he'd come out of it.
yeah,
Um,
maybe that's what it is. But yeah,
but yeah,
but yeah. Anyway,
yeah. I mean, already there is a lot of things in this world that have lost their significance. So I don't get excited by seeing balloons. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Whereas,
I hardly get excited by seeing new movies anymore.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm not watching a lot of the new shows that are coming out. I'm like, meh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't,
computer games don't really do it for me.
yeah.
It's like
You imagine this
there's
for 1,000 years? I'd just be like,
yeah,
oh my goodness. Unless I'm like invested in some interesting projects, that's the only way I could see myself through. Is just like getting into eugenics, getting into,
yeah. Well,
my
we
own
would get
studies of
into
cell. Mm.
we would we would be up to like episode 4 million of Hurry Up Sunday.
Yeah, that's true. Probably have 100 million followers by then too.
Yeah,
And they're like, what? What are the guys talking about today? Yeah,
we
but
would be finishing each other's sentences by then. But yeah,
yeah, I don't understand what people would want to actually live that long for. But regardless, this is like a sidetrack away from the idea of health and diet.
yeah,
It's yeah. So either way, I'm going sort of I'm eating vegetarian meals at the moment. Is about as far as I can
yeah,
go with that. I'll give you an update next week as to whether or not I've actually had meat since then and I've craved it. But
yeah. Cool. Yeah,
for
the
now,
interesting thing
the
is,
planet's saved because I have cut meat out.
I'll call you Captain Planet.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, world. I can smugly buy my food now and look at other people. Oh, bacon.
How dare you? Was that pig crying while you
Yeah,
killed it?
yeah, I'll just find a live pig and hand them a knife. Do it. Yeah.
Plunge it into my heart. But yeah, um, okay, let's end it, I guess, and we'll go into D&D.
Oh yes, that was intense. The last D&D game.
Thank you.
Um, uh,
I'm glad that I brought intensity.
yeah. I
Well, I
mean,
mean, we all did, but I'm glad the scene created intensity.
yeah. No, okay. So we were trying to save a village from bandit raiders.
Yeah,
We'd been sneaking around in the previous game, like murdering a few of them, and managed to release some villagers. We're pretty happy with that. But then some guards got alerted, and so we started that game with a bit of combat starting to happen, and more of these bandits are running out, and we're like
yeah,
killing to the point where my character just died. Well, he got knocked down, had to be healed, knocked down again, had to be healed, knocked down again, and we were like ready to surrender. You
yeah,
had like the leader of the bandits going, "Guys, you're outnumbered. Give up." And we're like, "We give up."
yeah.
And then of course the wizard or the sorcerer comes in. It's just like flame wall and burns everything.
That wall of fire, that was awesome.
Yeah,
That was an
well,
awesome moment.
yeah, that was a real changer because they were
Yeah,
like swarmed on us, and there was
yeah,
like me lying on the ground unconscious, and our bard Esmeralda. No, is she a bard?
Yeah,
Yeah, the bard
yeah,
Esmeralda's just like heal or revive or whatever it is she's done,
yeah.
and um, and then next thing, just like flames burst out all around us and burn everybody, which was really great. And I was very proud of this moment where I stood up. There was that dude with the claws who was just
That was awesome.
bashing us, and I just did a big shield bash, rolled a natural 20, slammed him back into the wall of fire, and he just like, yeah, he ends his turn there, so he's just
Yeah,
burning, and it was just enough to kill him. I was
yeah.
like, mm. That totally
That
changed it
was
around. Um,
that was like a series of like 2 or 3 turns that swung that whole fight.
yeah, yeah, just the
That was
rolls were
awesome.
all right. It was, yeah, it was very intense.
Yeah.
It was so intense, in fact, that I was the one that ended up going like, "Ah, guys, isn't it getting late?" Because like my time zone was like 10:30 something. I'm like, "We're normally
Yeah.
done by now." The other players are like one in the morning, 1:30 in the
Two. It
two
was
in the
two
morning.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, right. And they're just like, "Come on, just do 5 more minutes, Chris. You can stay in." Well, okay.
Like I'm a vegetarian now. I don't have
Yeah,
any energy.
that's right. I have to go save the planet some more. Um, yeah,
But yeah,
but that was, yeah, it was a good spot to end. I'm not sure exactly where it's going because the main dude is disappeared. So I don't know what to do about that. Um,
you killed the witch. You killed the warlock. That was impressive.
yeah,
I honestly didn't think. I mean, she was very low hit points. She wasn't
yeah, glass
extremely
cannons.
powerful, but um, yeah, I thought she would last till the next round and get out of there.
Yeah, no,
But
we just
but
focused our fire on her.
yeah, like because I had to move her like in my mind, like through the map. I was like moving her, moving her, moving her,
Oh yeah,
and she just got out enough to like cast.
yeah,
I probably could have moved her back if I had thought about it, but
yeah,
I I, I really thought we'd get through another round before. Um,
yeah.
so I don't want to bring up the controversy, but
Oh yeah,
you
that was a good one.
you
uh,
you throwing that dude through the firewall
mm,
wouldn't have killed him if we are going with that ruling.
yeah, correct.
Um, so
Well,
it was
no.
kind of,
Technically, if you start your turn in that area,
but he hadn't.
yeah,
So I
no,
he
but
died.
his next round he would have started in there because he'd
No,
only
no,
been
you knock. How far do you knock him?
5 feet.
Yeah, well the wall's only 1 foot
Yeah, but
wide.
the heat range is 10, so
Yeah, but it's within that.
the one
Oh
foot
no, it's
wall.
if you end, no, but it's if you end your turn within 10 feet of it,
Yeah,
and then it's the first time you go through the wall.
yeah,
So
yeah,
when you bashed him through it,
yeah,
that was when I rolled the damage,
yeah,
and well,
yeah,
V rolled the damage and killed him.
yeah,
Um, but technically, which I know it's right. That is the correct way that it should
yeah,
happen,
yeah,
and I'm going to rule it that way when we come on Saturday because
yeah, yeah,
I've looked on I've gone through forums,
yeah,
I've gone through random like posts. I've
yeah.
looked at that dude, the Jeremy Crawford or whoever it is, the co-creator of Fifth Edition.
Okay.
Look through his posts on it. Nowhere in there.
Yeah,
It's not even mentioned. This
yeah,
is the problem.
yeah,
Like that idea isn't mentioned anywhere.
yeah.
It's not even an argument. So I can't support it.
No, I don't see it either. You walk through fire, you get burned.
Yeah,
That's how it
yeah.
works. Yeah.
And so, but anyway, regardless of that, I don't think that had a big impact because the wall of fire never actually got used again.
No.
So it didn't materially didn't affect it. But
No.
yeah, no, I thought it was awesome. Anyway, I
Yeah.
thought it was an awesome session.
Yeah. It we came together as a team pretty well on that one. Like
Yeah,
really, yeah, really.
dude, I had other maps for you guys running. I thought you guys were gonna run.
Oh really? Getting
Yeah,
chased off. Yeah. No.
yeah.
No, it was interesting. I was kind of glad that that V suggested that we regroup and hold a line, because that's much more in
Yeah,
line of my character's way of playing. It's just like,
yeah,
you guys get back, I'll hold the fort and fight you, and yeah,
yeah.
and
It was awesome when Guinness ran up to the main guy. Was like, "Come on, mate, come on!"
yeah, that's right. It's like, what, a 3 foot halfling. I'll fight ya. It's just like, what?
And the dude's like, "Natural 20, 19."
Oh,
Just like
yeah,
nearly killed
yeah, Jesus, destroyed it. I was thinking, right? This is
him.
what I was thinking for my character movement. Because he started using Drut's hammer, right? This is that the
Yeah,
cleric from our, well, yeah, from the when
the
the
dead
party,
cleric. Yeah,
yeah, the dead cleric who died in the game that I wasn't there. Just needed that
yeah.
extra. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm starting to
Sorry,
use
dude.
the cleric's hammer.
Don't miss sessions, guys.
Yeah. So now that I'm using like a cleric's hammer, I'm thinking, well, maybe he's starting to think his god Torm, his hand is guiding him in combat. And so he can start looking at potentially multi-classing into a cleric of war.
War cleric.
Yeah,
That's cool.
which should be pretty cool because his
Yeah.
wisdom's high enough. It's like 13. It's not great, but it's not
Oh,
too
that's
bad.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you
And you
go up,
do get to.
you can increase stats when you go up
Yeah, yeah,
levels. Yeah, and I think he's at that point where you can just about do that. I think, or maybe the
yeah,
level after or something. But anyway, yeah, I was thinking he might want to move in that direction a bit more. If he is, it depending if we survive this or not, because he's like died 2 or 3 times. It's like, each time
yeah. You
keep
guys
getting
are.
up, and like I'm ready to fight, and we just keep winning, and I'm pretty sure now. So yeah, see if I can't
Yeah, and
find some way of converting.
no, that's a good thematic way of doing it. And
Mm.
yeah, you guys fought really well.
It was
It was like a
intense.
really, and it was very realistic. Like there wasn't. I didn't do anything that
No,
like.
the dudes just swarmed us, and we were getting our
Yeah,
butts kicked, and like we had to use. I used all of my maneuver skills and all
yeah,
of my character like
yeah,
second wind and everything like that. All of that was gone.
yeah.
Um,
Esmeralda's spell saved a lot of you guys.
oh, the making the guy run.
Yeah,
That was so,
every turn.
yeah. Well, he just,
Because he's like he doesn't have a high wisdom, so he just kept
yeah,
failing his wisdom
yeah,
save. I was just like, come on, just roll high.
yeah,
Like no,
yeah. No, that was. She seems to pick the right spells to use at the time. That just, yeah,
yeah.
completely throws them out.
And I really enjoy I really enjoy doing honest rolling as a DM.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it's great fun.
yeah.
Like because I don't feel bad if you guys die,
Mm.
and I don't feel like it's like when you're trying to fudge stuff, it never feels right.
No,
And
that's right. Because it's much easier to accept. It's like that was the die roll. He
yeah,
wasn't trying to
and
kill us.
and you
We were
get
just in a tough spot,
yeah,
and that was the die
and you get
roll.
to
Yeah,
see it. You
yeah,
get to see it as well. And like, I really, if you guys had died there, it would have been realistic because you
yeah,
basically took on a whole bandit camp.
yeah. Yeah, no, I was pretty much once those additional high level, well, the boss characters started coming out, and I was like,
Yeah,
probably gonna need to run, except that my party keeps sticking around. I
yeah, it
don't
was
want,
so chaotic.
yeah, I don't want to be the guy that runs, but
Yeah,
uh, yeah, the
it was
nobody
cool when
else
you
is.
intimidated that dude as well.
Oh, yeah, that was a nice little scene there.
Yeah,
Yeah, had those two guys with the shields just run up, smash
yeah,
down one, like just about killed him. It's like,
hammered one.
he's like, I give up. All right, leave. The other one, drop your weapon, go. He's now like cowering.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it was good because they weren't like solely committed like fanatics or anything. That's like, we're here for the money or whatever, and
yeah,
now watching everyone die, I give up and I leave.
yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to make it like. There was different tiers of belief in these people
Yeah,
because to make it make sense, like the dudes have like magic tattoos all over them, like the main guys,
yeah,
and like there is that sense of like they are sort of special,
yeah,
and so as the fanatics get more attached to the clan, they get it's harder to dissuade them.
Yeah,
But yeah, the white shirt dudes weren't.
yeah, they're just fodder.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I am super looking forward to next game on Saturday.
Yeah,
So
so am I. It's gonna be awesome.
yeah, that's gonna be very
All
cool.
right.
We can probably wrap it up there.
Yeah, cool.
'Cause I think
Sounds
my
good.
headphones are just about to die.
Oh
Battery's
yeah,
just
what?
about.
How's the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
new?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I bought these. They came in the mail. So easy. I literally just pulled the old one off. Well,
Yeah,
one of them had already fallen off. The other
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much disintegrated as I pulled. Um, and then uh, these just slip straight on. And they're a bit thicker,
Nice.
so they're a bit more comfortable. They also block out a bit more of the external sound.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought I was gonna have to like buy new headphones because I'm like, oh, can you even get that stuff? It's like,
yeah.
yeah, it's like
Wow,
super cheap.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so if your headphones disintegrate but the actual machine still works, the machine parts still work, yeah, just get new comfort things.
No, that's good to know. That's awesome.
Mm, yeah, it's all good.
Okay, well,
All right, I will.
goodbye to our
Yeah,
2 or 3 viewers,
our
and
loyal
we'll see you
followers.
next week.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have some updates on this alien drive
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
See if we
yeah.
can
Well,
get
I'm
him on
gonna
the
start.
show. That'd be cool.
Dear NASA scientist,
Yeah,
please come on.
yeah, yeah. We'll get your message out. Yeah,
Yeah, we run a small indie podcast.
yeah, yeah. All right. Anyway, I better go because I'm getting all
Okay.
these warnings
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So, all right. I'll catch
No, no,
you.
cool.